All right, this is going to be a conversation that I want to go over. I'm with my friend Charles and Sean. The question that I'm presenting to both of you is, should the MCU have ended at Endgame? Charles?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so the reason I brought up this question was because I've been seeing, not a lot, but I've seen videos where they bring up a idea surrounding the idea of the MCU should have ended at Endgame. I think we all are in unified agreement that the answer is no, but Charles, what's your reasoning?
They recently acquired the rights to mutants. And while some could say, well, you could just go ahead and reset the entire universe, I want to see what they could do by... Deadpool 3 is officially part of the MCU. The other Deadpool movies weren't. Hugh Jackman's going to be in the MCU as Wolverine one more time. And I think, okay, this is going to be great. Hugh Jackman being Wolverine in Deadpool 3 and part of the MCU, which would then probably introduce mutants to the MCU. And it sounds like they have a good plan. I want to see that through.
Sean, what's your answer?
One, yes for Deadpool 3. Cannot wait. That's going to be epic. And two, I mean, while Endgame would have been a great place to end, there's still a lot more that they can do and have an opportunity to bring into it.
More villains like Thanos, like the Beyonder and other big, and even Doctor Doom. We still have places to go.
Oh, yeah. Plus, I mean, there's another chance, if they do it right, to bring the Fantastic Four back into it if they bring Doctor Doom back into it. They can do a better job than they did last time.
Right.
Here's hoping.
So,
and I would really like to see Doctor Doom. Honestly.
You're not wrong. I want to see what they do with him because he uses quantum mechanics as a basic science.
What's his name from the not Doom Dimension? It's the realm where Reed likes to study and travel.
You're talking about Quantum Realm?
No, he's talking about...
he has like a portal in his lab that he studies...
The negative zone?
Yeah, the negative zone.
Yeah.
Like the guy that controls like a lot of like the
bugs.
Yeah.
Annihilation?
Yes, Annihilus.
Annihilus, yeah.
Yes, Annihilus.
I've been seeing, like, in Kang from the Loki show, I like how he's not Kang yet, but the way he was in that episode...
The way it ended, I think he is Kang
I still
now.
have to watch Loki.
You do. It is great.
Now, so...
I heard he hooks up with himself, which is kind of funny.
No,
Loki hooks up with him. Loki.
Oh,
yeah.
It makes sense.
Okay, let's not get off topic. So, where we currently are in the MCU, no one can deny that it's not in the best of place. Phase 4 does not have solid direction. We don't exactly have a character we can follow like Iron Man or anyone like that.
I mean, we have Thor, but...
Well, we have Thor, but he's not like an Iron Man. He's not like a Captain America.
I know, but, I mean...
We have characters, obviously. We have old characters that we can...
But Spider-Man, I think, will be the new face of the MCU. It feels like Spider-Man's really going to fill that role. Not to mention, in the comics, he becomes the hero of heroes. He's considered above Iron Man. When Cable comes back to the past, he looks at Spider-Man in awe, the hero of heroes. So, and I would like to see... So maybe that's what they're planning on doing, is having Spider-Man become the face. He's got pretty much more movies than anybody else has had.
That is true.
Except... Well, no, Thor's got 4, so they're equal in their movies. But it's certainly going to be interesting to see, and I think Spider-Man will be the new face because he's as smart as Iron Man and Reed Richards. He's actually smarter than both of them in the comics for his age.
Oh, by the way, Tom Holland's Spider-Man only has 3 movies.
Right, I'm counting some other movies he was in. But either way, I think he will become the new face because they did pump out his movies pretty quickly. And all of them were really good.
We're gonna have to hope for that one because of the right situation.
Oh yeah,
because Spider-Man is technically under Sony, but that's not taken away from the fact that they won't still make movies in coordination with Marvel.
But it seems like them and Sony are having a pretty good deal. At first, yes, there were some iffy waters, but I think those waters have been smoothed over.
So, Sean, did you have any other ideas?
I mean, if we're going purely based on like the movies they have made now, they kind of like there's nowhere to go with like the Wasp and Ant-Man situation. That's pretty cut and dry done. Thor, I mean, you could keep up with them, but
Yeah, he's got other.
He's got other stuff to do.
Okay.
And Spider-Man would be a good main guy to focus on in the MCU.
But
Because he's well loved and respected
And
by
then there's
both
the
fans and the people in the universe.
And the way Mysterio said Spider-Man, it seems like Mysterio feared that Spider-Man would become the new Iron Man too. So there's that little foreshadowing a bit.
So before we move on, I want to get back to the original question. Not that there's much we can talk about, but since we already gave our answers, but just so we're not just going off on tangents, which I would really like.
We could if we wanted to.
Oh yeah, this is who's stopping us? But like
You are.
that is
It's fair. We gotta get the main discussion.
the point is, like, obviously we all agreed that like, I agree with both of you in the idea that in-game there's eventually, if Endgame was really the end of the current MCU, they were going to start over eventually, which might, like, there is an idea where it could have been not better, but if they started over, they had all the rights, then they could build a new world. But there was this also idea where they might do a reboot anyway.
Yeah, I heard Secret Wars might be a reboot.
Oh, that would be dope.
No, not Secret Wars.
Not Secret Wars?
Because Secret Wars is a TV show coming out with Nick Fury. No, it would be like it's in Phase 6 or something where they have two Avengers movies where Kang, I think, is the main antagonist or something like that.
That makes sense.
I forget the names. I think Kang Dynasty is one of them, but I don't remember what the other Avengers title is. And that's going to be the end of, like, the Kang saga. But I don't know. That's still far away with the plan.
Yeah, honestly, I just want to see where they could go. I mean, I'm not going to say it's going to be any good. Yeah. Some people say it's slacking, but I just feel like, well, you got to give them time to build up again because Endgame was like the highest point so far, but so it's going to go downhill. But it's like a graph; it's going to go back up.
I do believe, like, obviously there are things we can criticize about. We should criticize, but it's like, and I also do believe that if you don't feel like it's worth spending your money, then don't spend your money. You know, again, criticize where it needs to be criticized and all that. But like you said, we got to give them some time, because you don't just keep going. Not to mention they put in these new ideas with TV shows on Disney Plus and all that. There's a lot of new stuff.
I'm not the biggest fan of the TV shows personally.
I get where y'all and other people are coming from, though, because we don't want them to pull a Lost, where it just kept going, and it just made it to where you just couldn't keep up.
I personally don't like the idea of all these TV shows, because it makes me feel like if I don't keep up with TV shows, I can't keep up with the movies. And I'm not the biggest fan of some of their TV shows. I'm not the biggest fan of She-Hulk. I don't think it's really that good.
Did She-Hulk get canceled?
No.
No.
I was hoping.
But it's not as bad as some people make it out to be. Some people saying it's woke, but I've actually seen a lot of people say it's not, and I actually kind of agree with it.
Yeah.
But my thing is, I don't think it's that good.
I think there was an idea that was presented where I feel like the TV shows should be, quote unquote, separate entities, like Moon Knight.
I agree.
I feel like Moon Knight's that was a
perfect
good show.
Hawkeye was pretty good. I liked how they did that. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It feels like you had to watch it for the MCU, but when that came out, the coronavirus and all that was going on, so they couldn't really make a movie because of how theaters are.
Like, I do feel like there are some, like, I don't know which ones would be better for what media. Like, you know, Eternals probably would have been better as a TV show. Maybe
Right.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier should have been.
I didn't like Eternals that much. Like, it had good graphics. It had good, but it just didn't have a good story, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like it was leading anywhere.
Plus, aren't the Eternals supposed to be
the first mutants? Yes.
God tier-esque kind of?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they were.
And it didn't really give that impression.
It did not.
Yeah, I feel like
I feel like the Flash could have taken the fast one, honestly.
You're not wrong.
From
the
the
Flash
DC. Well,
easily could have.
To be fair, DC's broken all the way through.
Yeah, you're comparing mortals to gods.
But yeah, the point.
The Flash is immortal.
Yeah.
No, basically the point of DC is to have heroes.
My bad. Back to topic.
No, you're good. As long as you guys are. Anyway, so
it was just a thought.
But no, I do believe that there should. Again, this is a case of. I feel like this is a case of this is something new that the MCU and arguably no one else has really tried before to this extent, where the TV shows relate to the movies.
I don't think there's been an extended universe like this.
There hasn't been an extended universe.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting, and I agree with the miniseries, because there's miniseries in comics; those are perfect as shows. But when you're over there trying to say, "Oh, this is going to relate to said movie," it puts pressure to watch it when I don't,
feel like you have to,
right?
Or if you don't feel like I want.
And I was told that you can't go see Multiverse of Madness if you don't watch Loki because you're not going to understand everything. Well, I did go see Multiverse of Madness without watching Loki, and I was not lost at all. I felt like anything that I would be lost in, it'd be like, okay, I'm lost for 5 minutes.
The only show you would really need to watch was WandaVision, and even then, that's only for the context of who the kids are.
Right. And I get why WandaVision came out because, again, movies were difficult. It was a difficult time for everybody.
That corona.
And, yeah, it messed up everything. So I get that. I feel like they may have made WandaVision a movie if the coronavirus hadn't hit.
Okay, so here's another question, and it's related to the initial topic. Do you think that... How do I explain this? Because this is someone else's idea in a different video altogether from someone else. But do you think the MCU is there's too much of the MCU? I don't know if this is the same question or not.
Honestly,
and I don't mean
the
now.
Shows, yes.
I don't mean now in the state of it, but I mean do you think if the shows weren't a problem, if the number of movies weren't a problem, do you think that there would if everything was still good and worth watching? Mm-hmm. Do you think that there's too much of a good thing? Should they have stopped in the sense of you can only go so far?
Well, I mean, let's look at comics real quickly. I have to bring in comics for this one because Marvel Comics wasn't selling in the 90s. It was just they were going bankrupt. And they eventually, I think that's how they sold a lot of their characters so they could continue. But it typically picks back up. They reboot the universes whenever it's not selling. They do a lot of... But at the end of the day, I'm kind of glad they're continuing. Because if it picks up, great. If not, then maybe it's time for a reset.
Sean?
I get the question. But I feel like when it comes to shows and movies and stuff like that, too much of a good thing is not really a bad thing. Especially if it's pulling in people that get interested in it and people who from there they might want to branch out okay, this is this. Now, again, back to comics. Now let me just check this out because this was interesting. I enjoyed it. Which could bring them back to there and then that cycles back in there and they could give more ideas.
And there's now an app for the Marvel called Marvel Unlimited. It's a subscription for 30,000 comics is already online in it of the Marvel universe. So you can just go and pick that up at any time and really get into it without having to even buy comics. You no longer need to go to a comic store because people like us, we don't have a comic store in our hometown.
Yeah.
So to me, that's the best thing ever. I pay $5.99 a month so I can read unlimited comic books.
And I feel like the movies and shows are just one. It's the common media of today's age. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of people are going to go looking for comics or even online.
That's why I mentioned the.
Yeah, but if they find something interesting and then they realize, oh, this came from this, maybe it'll bring it back to them.
Right.
I mean, I feel like that's not exactly the plan. And if
they're not
but
even
it could
interested in it, I mean, that's perfectly fine.
At
least they tried. At least they
and they still enjoyed the movie.
Right.
Maybe.
And we're always getting new fans, and that's why the Black Panther controversy was a little weird for me. It's okay, look, I don't care, but why are you saying I can't watch it? Because I'm, me.
Yeah.
Because I've been following the comics. I know who Black Panther was long before he came on the big screen.
Yeah.
I liked the Black Panther. Always have.
Okay, this is a tangent, but I don't get how race makes it to where you can't watch and enjoy something. I don't know why people brought that up at all.
Yeah,
that was not.
But I'll end it with this because we have work to do eventually. But I'll say this: if there's any one thing I'm glad that the MCU has continued, I get to see Blade again.
You're not wrong. I would love to see Blade.
Blade would come. I wish Blade would come.
For those of you who don't know, Wolverine did
No.
save Blade when Blade was a kid in London.
No, Blade is coming. Yeah,
Yeah, he was in the credit scene.
Of what?
Of Eternals. You didn't see him. You heard him. You sure you're ready for that, Mr. Whitman? Oh, he's coming. Hopefully.
And if they can put in where Wolverine did save Blade in London somehow through a flashback or something, that would be amazing.
Okay, sidebar though. On like different universe.
Different universe.
DC, they need to get my boy Virgil back. Or no.
Okay, you're not wrong. Static Shock needs some love, guys.
Like for real. Like that is one of the best heroes ever.
Yes.
That they have.
Very much so. But thank you guys for recording this with me. Hopefully I'll put this on YouTube, of course.
You better put this on YouTube.
I will definitely put this on YouTube. And don't worry, I got some recordings happening in the background as well. It's going to be great.
Let's do more podcasts.
Yeah, let's do more. I like this. Thank you guys.